Bill Belichick, though. It's the opposite of whatever list like he's on now. I would never have had him on this list of being dragged around by his own tail, like seemingly whipped. Like, I don't know what's going on. He's Bill Belichick. He does things the way he wants to do them, and that is it. And in fact, in this interview, he's wearing a old, torn-up sweatshirt that looks like it's literally 50 years old. And it might be.
Yeah.
And it's stained, and it's disgusting, and he's wearing this in his interview that he is filming at his high school, that he went to high school at. He was going back to, I don't know why they filmed it there, but his 24-year-old girlfriend is a part of this interview. We'll get to her in a second. First, I just want to show you clip one. This is why I like Bill Belichick.
You write about not cheerleading on the sideline, but also you're against the inspirational locker room speech at halftime. Coach, have you not seen the movies?
I've seen them. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm not against them. I would just say I've seen very few that were really worthy of, a strong mention or change the direction of the team or the game. There have been very few. Most of it really is strategic. What are they doing? What do we need to adjust to that? That's really what football is, identifying a problem, figuring a solution, and then executing that, that plan to make it work.
That's who I want to hear. That's my guy. Halftime of a locker room, there's no rah-rah speeches. It's looking at the angles, looking at the objective facts. This is what we have to do. This is how we will be successful. We're not going to be successful because I pump you full of confidence. We're going to be successful because you have run up and down that hill a million times. You have lifted more weights. You have studied more. You are more prepared than anyone else, and we're trying to cheat as much as we can. So that's why we're going to win. We're taking every edge we can. Not this. I'm going to pump you up with subjective things. Objectively, this is why you can and will win, and that's my guy. That's why this other stuff doesn't make any sense that he's doing with his 24-year-old girlfriend. We'll get to that in a second. Cut two is him talking about Robert Kraft, and I thought this got a little bit uncomfortable. Bill Belichick is just uncomfortable overall.
Yeah, always.
Like, what about when his face tries to smile? It's a weird, it's very Grinch-like.
Well,
it's like it doesn't. These muscles have never been used in this way. But I know that humans smile when something amusing is said. I am now evaluating what you just said as something amusing enough to elicit a smile. Now let me activate facial muscles that must force this to happen.
But here's the weird thing, though, right? Is that he had a girlfriend before, and she wasn't 22, but she was like a hot older lady who was really into Instagram. And she would post photos like they did Halloween. Remember, it was like Randy Moss's party or something. They went as pirates, something. It's always been hard for me to square this stuff because, to my knowledge, Nick Saban doesn't really do it. I know that it's Miss Terry this, Miss Terry that, but like dressing up as a pirate and going, I don't know. So Bill Belichick has this weird, frankly, horny side to him where he's willing to do things for P because clearly, he had that girlfriend for like 16 years and she was like socialite lady, big time. So he's got that. It's just weird how that has to, and sometimes that means he has to smile, but he doesn't know how to smile. So the whole thing is just very odd. It's not totally out of nowhere that he's like, hey, I'll dress up like a fisherman and shoot a mermaid photo shoot with the weirdest stuff that we would kick somebody off the show for, frankly.
So anyway, he's talking about his relationship with Robert Kraft.
I have to ask about Robert Kraft because 24 years together, 6 Super Bowls. Unless I'm wrong, he's not in this book. How come?
He's not. Well, again, it's about my life lessons in football, and it's really more about the ones that I experienced directly.
But he's not even in the acknowledgement section.
Correct.
Do you feel like you were treated with dignity and respect when you were let go by Robert Kraft?
Yeah, well, it was a mutual decision for for us to part ways.
He said fired.
It was a mutual decision.
Ouch.
So is it just impossible? Is it just impossible for two people, for that long to be that successful and not eventually have it just end poorly? Whether it's Mike and Grego, whether it's Belichick, Kraft, Brady, is it just not possible? Because it seems like they had everything worked out simpatico, to where you knew your role, I knew my role, this and that, and it works better than any situation ever.
I mean, it certainly takes
Jimmy and Jerry.
guys like that, like even Brady included. They all have huge egos, but it does take you to check in some of that. Someone somewhere is going to have to check that ego a little bit and know that, I mean, it was just kind of like the Belichick-Brady, who's more important? They both thought they were the ones that were more important their whole career, but they had to allow the other one to get all the credit, or a ton of credit at least. Now, Kraft certainly thinks his importance is probably a lot higher than it actually is.
Yeah.
Belichick and Brady probably both have good arguments that theirs was the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because even a great quarterback, you can have great quarterbacks on teams that don't end up winning Super Bowls because you weren't able to have an architect around that team, be good enough. But Belichick was a great team builder as well and just kept the guys in line. And, Robert Kraft, to his great credit, better than Jerry, because Jerry had to have that credit with Jerry and Jimmy, where, you've always dreamed probably of what if they never break, what if they were the, what Belichick and Kraft were. But that was a very uncomfortable portion of that interview. But yes, and ever since they have broken up, both of them have gone to great lengths to distance from each other. If you remember that one, was it an Apple TV documentary on the Patriots, where I think Belichick was pretty lightly covered?
Yeah.
It was produced by Robert Kraft or something, and same thing when I think Netflix might have done one, and it was very, very little Robert Kraft. I don't know.
And the roast was awkward when all three of them were there.
Well, anything with Belichick is awkward.
Yeah.
I know, but they forced those three guys in a room together, kind of making fun of each other. Very tense.
Yeah, they'll all do something for money. Hence this book. So now, apparently, though, his girlfriend was at the interview with him. We've already detailed. She's at everything with him. She's at football practice.
She's at practice. She's copied on all the emails. She gives directives on how the brand is supposed to be presented, on down to hey, they introduced Steve Belichick in a press release as Bill Belichick's son. She said, no, we're not going to do that anymore. To present him as his own entity. And a detail that I did not know whenever we covered this story initially was that she was also bothering people about moderating content on the social media pages of UNC football. She emailed, is there anyone monitoring the UNC football page for slanderous commentary and subsequently deleting it, blocking users that are harassing BB in the comments?
BB.
He followed up the next day, Belichick, I cannot believe that UNC would support my being called a predator. It's they're just going to the Facebook page and everybody's like, 73-24, this guy's a predator. What a pedophile. And they see it and they want it deleted. So she's she's very involved in manicuring his image in all aspects.
73-24. How do you keep up?
I mean, I just don't feel like you do.
Why would you even want to? Jeez.
The amount that you're boning, what, once a week?
Why is that question directed at me?
You're our sexpert.
No, I'm not.
You're probably the heaviest boner in this room.
It's really not even close. What's it like down there?
Multiple times?
But think about it though,
It
like
depends on the week. I don't know.
think about it.
Sometimes he does it twice a week, Jim.
If you were like what? If you were like
She's pregnant.
if you were like super fit, teed up, like 40-year-old guy, like the guys we know who love having sex, they probably do it like every day. And you're like, okay, maybe it's worth it to you because you're really into it. I guess what I'm getting at is how much is Belichick really boning to be able to say, well, this is worth it because she makes me feel good. And I guess she could make him feel good outside of that, just like the radiance of like knowing that that they will bone. They're never more than a few days away from a bone makes him feel good about himself. But they can't be fucking that much to where he's willing to throw his entire life away, all of his values.
Well, his girlfriend is mentioned in the book.
Well, of
So
course.
Robert Kraft is not.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's this last cut is a little bit longer. This is about a minute and a half long, a little less than that, but this is the one that went viral.
The other change for Belichick is 24-year-old Jordan Hudson, his creative muse, as he writes in his book.
Make sure that that's the philosophy.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
Shut up.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on, though Hudson has recently posted about it on Instagram.
You joined InstaFace, as you put it. I
Yeah.
love that. There's some great pictures of you and Jordan where you're a fisherman and she's a mermaid. It's charming. It's a different side of you. What's the reaction been like?
What's it been like?
To have these different sort of photos. There's another one where you're doing, I know you're not into meditation or yoga or Pilates. You're balancing Jordan on your feet and she's doing kind of the Titanic pose.
Yeah, so I'm on some of those social media platforms, but I honestly don't follow them.
Oh.
So CBS did come out and say they did include that clip because she interrupted multiple times, and they just included one.
Yeah.
Like, we think this has been such a prevalent part of this interview that we have to put something in just to show that she was a looming presence and she's part of the Bill Belichick game these days. And it wasn't kind of like the one time she actually said something. So then I'm like, why would they agree to this even? So first of all, I'm thinking, because we've been asked before, could somebody have editorial control over an interview, like before you put it out? And we'd say no, Some people have said, will you steer away from certain topics, which we will do at times, right? If that's, if that's your wish to get you, we actually really want to talk to you about this or that, and that's not that big of a part of this thing. I mean, if it was you're booking Nico today and they said, well, don't mention Luca at all, you couldn't do that.
Sure.
You just wouldn't be able to. Like, why would CBS would probably say, no, you can't have editorial control, but he wants to sell books, so he's like, okay, I'll still do it. Why would she be interrupting, knowing?
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know what she's doing.
Or is it because she really knows what she's doing? Because if Bill Belichick goes on CBS Sunday morning and talks about his life in football and she's not there and they just answer questions, is he selling way less books this week?
I mean, that's possible. It's possible, the 4D level chess. I was thinking about this over the weekend, like pursuant of absolutely nothing ever. But if you had a boss and like everybody hated that boss, but you were like, man, this guy's not that competent, everyone hates him, But would you stop and be like, actually, no, he has everyone hate him on purpose, so that there is like a common thread here that we all feel like united
unity,
in one thing. And
they used to say that about certain coaches.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I feel like sometimes that may be the case. I don't think it is always. I don't think, no, and I'm also using the context of the way that she presented herself in that one where she's kind of sitting in what appears to be like an editing bay, like she's God. No, we're not talking about this. Maybe. But I think in general, it's that this person just doesn't have, she has no professional experience at all.